Hi there. We are the Baylor Missions Line Camp team. My name is Holly Wydick, and I work with Baylor Missions. I'm the assistant director here, and I am one of the team leaders for this trip.
Hello, my name is Keen Tarbell, and I am the Associate Director in New Student Programs. I work closely with our Baylor Line Camp program, the traditional on-campus variety, as well as some of our specialty camps.
Yeah, and we are so excited that you're here today, or hopefully going to be watching us on YouTube later. We know we picked a kind of funky time, but we hope that you'll find this information helpful in your decision-making process to be a part of the first ever international line camp with Baylor University. We're super excited about it, and we're super excited that you or your student is interested in this experience. It's definitely going to be something that is different than any Baylor student has ever been able to be a part of before, and just being part of the first group ever, I know is just really exciting opportunity for you, and we're excited that you're interested. So we've already introduced ourselves and our roles as your team leaders. So we're the ones that are going to be planning the trip, working behind the scenes to get stuff ready for you to travel, and doing a lot of the planning and helping you with finances along the way through that fundraising process. And so that's the role that Keen and I will play. We'll also be on the trip with you, being mentors and working alongside you at our host site. So we're excited to get to meet you and get to serve alongside you in a couple months. And so I just wanted to be able to introduce a couple people, just so you know some familiar faces for when you arrive for the first ever line camp. The first is Molly Hammondtree, who is hiding in this corner over here. Hi, this is Molly. Molly is our student leader. She is our student coordinator, I guess is what we're calling you these days. So Molly has been working with our global partners to plan this trip, and she's been working out the day-to-day schedule of what you're going to be doing. And so Molly, what are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about y'all having the opportunity to see what line camp will look like in an international setting. So you'll get to see the traditions of line camp and Baylor's heart for service in international community.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. You'll get to see her again later. Someone's calling me. I bet it's one of your parents. And by the way, if you have any questions you want to ask, there should be a Q&A panel for you to be able to ask questions, and Molly and I will be answering questions as we go along. Okay, next up is Robert.
Hi, I'm Robert.
What year are you, Robert?
I'm a junior, and I'm a mechanical engineering major.
And what are you excited about for Line Camp Guatemala?
I'm excited about being able to have a small group where you guys get to kick off your Baylor experience with a service trip, and for me to be able to have that experience with you, which will translate throughout the rest of your Baylor career, and just really being able to build relationships with you guys that will last and be really meaningful.
It was one of your parents calling me. Okay, next up is Omar.
Hi, my name is Omar. I am a junior political science and philosophy double major from Salem, Oregon.
Awesome. What are you excited about, Omar?
I'm really excited about the trip as a whole, just because this is the first time we are doing a global missions line camp. And being a line camp leader before, I'm excited to incorporate missions and line camp together and to just take Baylor's mission statement and apply it to real life.
Awesome. This is why we hire the best guys. I'm telling you. So we have 6 great upperclassmen leaders that are going to be traveling alongside you. Each of you is going to be in a small group with one of these leaders, and they're really going to be there not only during the trip, but like from the time you're accepted all through the summer, helping to answer your questions, help you get to know other students that are going to be on your team, and just really create community as best as we can through the internet, and through, if you have opportunities to come to Waco during the summer, meet us, or maybe we hang out in DFW, but just any opportunity you can to meet and get to know your team before you get there. So we're really excited about that. Thanks to the couple extra viewers who've joined us. We're super excited you're here. We have 4 people watching right now, so like blowing our minds. We're super excited that you're here. Again, if you want to ask us questions, feel free to write it please ask it in the Q&A panel, or if you want to email me, I have my phone with me. It's Holly_Widick, WIDICK, @Baylor.edu, and we can answer your questions. And so in addition to our line camp leaders, who you've met a couple of, we are going to be taking 20 first-year or transfer students with us. So it's really competitive right now. We have been so overwhelmed with the amount of students who've shown interest in this trip, and we're so excited to get to read your applications and work through trying to create like the A team. And so the coolest team that we could possibly create with students who are going to become friends for life. And so we're excited. Friday's the last day you can apply, so make sure if you haven't gotten your application in to go to baylor.edu/missions and finish up your application so that we can consider you as well. So that's kind of the introduction section. So we wanted to kind of go through some of the frequently asked questions that we've been getting from students. And one of those questions is, what's line camp? So Keen runs line camp, so let's ask him.
It is near and dear to my heart, for sure. So our tagline for Baylor Line Camp is building relationships while experiencing Baylor. And in this instance, it'd be an opportunity to experience Baylor in Guatemala, which is a little bit different than the context of on campus. And we'll talk a little bit about the differences in a bit. But it's really just an opportunity for you to explore more about who you are and who you're becoming, and your gifts, your talents, your strengths, and how that might inform how you discover your calling while at Baylor. Our hope is that you'll build a lot of friendships, and that you'll also have an opportunity to understand more about yourself and your friends, build community. And so when you come back in the fall, you feel like this is a place where you really belong and can thrive.
So they have opportunity to apply for a traditional line camp experience as well. So what does that look like on campus?
So the traditional line camp experience on campus is going to be similar to what we do in Guatemala in some ways. I think it's really just an opportunity. I think Robert said it earlier really well, that it's an opportunity to really live out the mission of the university through service. And so that's what's really cool. It was Omar, sorry, friend, who mentioned that earlier. But if you're coming to traditional line camp on campus, it's 4 days, 3 nights, unless you're doing the combo session. Lots of different varieties that you can look up online and find out more about. But it's going to be a lot of spirit and tradition, as well as some of the same core messages of community and calling and strengths, understanding who you are, who you're becoming, and how you can use your gifts and talents to serve the world. We just had the really unique opportunity in Guatemala to use your gifts and talents in service through Orphan's Heart and our partnership with them. So it's a great experience. If you're unable to come to Guatemala, we'd love for you to check out on-campus line camp and be a part of that. Some of the differences, I think the main differences are the size of the group, but we're still going to do a lot of the same things in terms of content and curriculum. We do go to Independence, which is a part of the experience on campus, which you won't get to do when you're in Guatemala. But other than that, they're very similar in content and mission. And our hope is at the end of the day that you'll build a lot of friendships and really have a lot of fun and learn something about yourself while also learning about others.
That's awesome. I know I'm excited. I signed up. Yeah, and so on the other hand, I work for Baylor Missions, and Baylor Missions is a part of student life at Baylor. And one of the things that our goal as a department is to help students integrate faith, learning, and service. And so most of the time, you wouldn't get this opportunity until you're already a student. So this is new opportunity for us to be able to take incoming students. We're really excited about it because you get to start off your Baylor experience already having a mission trip service opportunity that is part of the Baylor experience. And so we're really excited about that. Baylor Missions, we do 2 big things. We do service here in the Waco community called Urban Missions. So once you get back from Missions Line Camp, one of the things you're really going to want to do is get connected here in the Waco community. And so we're going to be there to be able to connect you with ways you can keep serving throughout your 4 years here at Baylor. We don't want mission trips to be the only time that you're actively involved in a community. And so we're going to connect you here to Waco. But we're also going to connect you with ways that you can serve on other mission trips in the future. And all of our trips, once you've declared a major and once you've decided what you want to study, our trips are discipline specific. And so we want to connect what you're learning in the classroom with opportunities to serve around the world. So whether that's here in Texas or in India or in Zambia or back in Guatemala, is wherever your heart calls you to. We want to be there to support you. And we do group travel experiences during spring break and May semester for all types of students. So we'll be excited to be able to introduce you to those types of trips as well. But this is definitely a great first start to learn about both of these programs. And so we're excited to introduce those to you. So next, I'm going to turn it over to Molly for a little bit, and she's going to kind of give you a rundown of what the week is going to look like while we're in Guatemala.
Awesome. Thanks, Molly. Hi, all. Once again, I'm Molly, and I've been planning out kind of what our week is going to look like in Guatemala, and it's been really exciting and fun. So how things are going to play out, we're going to be arriving in Dallas on Friday night, the 5th of August. So that night is just going to be a time for you to meet your leaders, maybe for the first time, and get plugged in with the community that we're starting to build. And then Saturday morning, we're going to get on a flight to Guatemala City. And that's going to be about a 3.5 hour flight. So it's not a bad flight at all. It's pretty close, actually. And then once we're in Guatemala City, we'll take the buses to Antigua, which is what, 2-hour drive?
Maybe like an hour.
Hour drive. So it's not a bad travel time at all. And so after we get into Antigua, we'll get plugged in at our hotel. And if you have any questions about the hotel, we have all of the links set up on the Baylor missions page. So if you just kind of explore our little Line Camp website, you can find all the attachments to anything you would like to see. And so after that first Saturday, that's going to be kind of a chill day. We'll get in, we'll get settled, we'll have dinner as a team, and it's just kind of going to be a laid back day. And then on Saturday, we're going to get to go to a coffee plantation. So I don't know if you guys know anything about Guatemala, but it's really famous for its coffee. And so we're going to get to tour a plantation and do some zip lining, and all of that is included in the trip cost. So you're not going to have to pay anything extra for that day. Then we'll have some time to go back into the city and kind of explore Antigua and get to know what that kind of culture is like. And then we'll have kind of some downtime that night just to hang out with our groups and get to know everyone a little better, make sure that we're really comfortable and prepared for our first day on site with Orphans Heart. So what our partnership with them looks like is they're a missions planting organization, and they've set up this partnership with a malnutrition center in Guatemala. And if you have any questions about that, again, the link will be on that Line Camp Missions website. I would tell you the name, but I'd butcher it. So I'll just leave that out.
In Spanish.
But yeah, it's in Spanish.
You should learn Spanish before you go on this trip.
Seriously,
we should learn
Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah, no, really. But you can go check that out on our website again. But what our day's kind of going to look like is we'll get up in the morning and we'll have breakfast as a team. And then we'll get on our buses that'll take us to the malnutrition center, and that's going to be about a 45-minute drive. And on that drive, you'll have some devotion time with your leaders, and those are going to be prepared by them. So it'll be really authentic and original, which we're really excited about. And then after we get to the malnutrition center, we'll get to wake up the kids that are there. We'll help feed them breakfast and just kind of have a little bit of time to love on them. And since they're in the malnutrition center, their feeding schedule is very, very strict. So they're in this, they're not orphans, actually. They're children that have been dropped off by their families who are from very malnourished areas. So they're going to be dropped off. They're going to be pretty sickly, small little kids, and we're going to be able to kind of learn how Guatemala deals with that malnutrition and the resources they have available to those children. And so we'll be providing that and helping them with that. So while we're at the center, we'll actually get to be involved in their feeding 3 times. So we'll get real personal up in that, and we'll be able to help out with that, and that'll be really cool. And then we're also going to have some time in the afternoon where we'll go over the traditional Line Camp curriculum, like strengths and calling and community, things that we would be talking about if you were here on campus. And so that'll be a different one every single day. And then after we're done at the malnutrition center, it'll be about 4:30, and we'll drive back, getting back to our hotel in Antigua at around 5:30. And you'll have some days to go and explore the city, and some days to just kind of have a reflection time with your leaders and kind of look back on what the day has meant to you. And then we'll have a group dinner, and that'll pretty much wrap up our days. Mm-hmm. So that'll be Monday through Thursday will be how those days are structured. And then on Friday, is when we'll be flying back. And so we'll pack up Thursday nights. We'll be ready to head out to the airport on Friday morning. And then we're hoping to get back into Dallas on Friday mid-afternoon. So if any of y'all need connecting flights back home, you'll have plenty of time Friday afternoon to make those connections and get back at a reasonable time. So, yeah, that's what it's looking like.
It's going to be a packed week. Like,
yeah,
we'll have plenty of downtime. Like, that's something that's really important to Baylor Missions is that you serve hard, but you're also eating well and sleeping well and taking the time to reflect that you need to be able to really process the experience. I know I've been to Guatemala a couple times with Baylor Missions teams, and it's a wonderful place to be able to go and serve, and the people are so wonderful, and they challenge me and they also inspire me, and so I know that y'all are going to have a great experience serving in Guatemala, but we want to make sure that we're giving you the time to be able to work as an individual and as a group to kind of process what you're seeing. For many of you, this may be the first time you've been out of the country, or maybe seen extreme poverty, and so we want to be able to be there for you and be able to help you process and to serve really well. And so Molly is an all-star, and she has like planned this trip to a T, and you're going to have an amazing experience. And so we're super thankful for her and all the hard work that she's been putting in alongside of our student leaders that you'll get to know over the next couple months. And so it's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah, and this is the first time Baylor Missions has partnered with Orphans Heart in Guatemala. We have partnerships with them in Colombia and the Dominican Republic. So we're excited to be able to expand our partnership with them as well. The organization is run by some Baylor grads, SICM, and so we love partnering with other Baylor alums as well. So that's really exciting for us to be able to do. So we're excited about that for sure. So let's see. We talked a lot about Orphans Heart, and the funny part that they're not actually orphans. So that's something to know ahead of time, to keep in mind that these kids have families, and you might actually get to meet some of their families. That Orphans Heart will provide meals and take-home baskets for their families as well. So I think on Thursdays or Fridays, their families get to come visit the kids, check on how they're doing, and then they send them home with nutrition for the other kids who aren't there and their families. So super cool organization, and we're so excited to be able to partner with them in this new way.
Yeah, we're really excited. And if you had any questions about the level of malnutrition in Guatemala, there's a really great video. It's actually on YouTube called Living on $1 a Day. And it's these two college students that go and live in a rural city in Guatemala, and they just kind of experience that poverty and malnutrition. And so if you have any questions about that, that's a really great resource open to you. If you have any questions, you could email me or Holly.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Well, I know I actually have gotten some people asking me questions, so thanks a lot. So this is my friend Ricardo. I've actually met you yesterday, so good to see you again. And Ricardo asked if the hours that we are on the mission trip count as community service hours. And so that's a really cool question that I've never thought about. And so one of the things about Baylor, being a Baylor student, there aren't necessarily required community service hours, just as a generic student at the university. So depending on maybe a residential community you live in, or maybe certain student organizations you may decide to join, that might be a good question for us to be able to ask them. So if you're living in one of the LLCs, like the Leadership LLC, or maybe the Baylor and Beyond community, I know that they have some community service things. And so if this is something that you want to participate in, and you're also part of one of those communities, feel free to let me know which community you're in, and we'd be able to contact them and kind of ask them if this would be a good way for you to get some of your hours in. We would love for it to count, and I will definitely go up to bat for you if you need the hours. I can sign off on stuff to be able to get you. Robert likes my batting analogy. He's maybe baseball stuff behind you. So we're really, we're more than willing to help you get whatever paperwork you need, if that's something that you need for one of your organizations and stuff. So thanks for that question. So we know one of the big questions that a lot of y'all are probably asking, and we hope the website has been pretty transparent about, is how much it costs to go on this trip. And a traditional line camp experience is not this expensive, but you also have to take into account international air travel, housing, and a lot of other, we got to feed you, we got to get you medical insurance, all of those things that come into play when you're planning a mission trip. And so we have worked really, really hard to make this trip as affordable as we can for you. And so we brought the price down to $2,000. And so to start off, if you're accepted to the team, you'll make a $100 deposit just to save your spot. And then from that point on, our team will work with you to set up the payment schedule through our office. But one of the great things about Baylor Missions is that we fundraise. And so one of the really cool things about being a high school senior is that around graduation time, people are they just want to throw money at you. They're just so excited you're graduating in high school that they will literally, like, whatever, like, we'll buy you new stuff for your dorm room, or, hey, I'm going on a mission trip. Would you, instead of buying me that shower caddy, would you please give money towards my mission trip? And so we're going to have an app set up for you, or get you set up with a GoFundMe style account so that you can start fundraising from day one. And so our goal is that you don't have to put too much of your own personal money or your parents' money towards this trip, but it's more of a community thing. So you're telling all your friends and your teachers and your church members that you're going on this trip with Baylor, this mission trip with Baylor, and ask them to support you and kind of journey alongside you. And it's a great spiritual practice, fundraising. It's challenging. And I mean, I remember so Molly went to Ghana a couple of years ago with us, and she fundraised pretty much the whole thing.
Yeah, I did.
And so, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's a humbling experience to ask people for money, but also just to be able to know that your community is supporting you in your decision to be a part of this experience. We're supporting you. Yeah. And the way that Baylor is going to support you is that we will actually have a scholarship you can apply for, and it's going to be $500. And so, or up to $500. So if you have fundraised really, really hard and you've shown that, like, you're trying and you've just about hit that final mark, we'll come in there and help you with that final payment. And so we're really happy to be able to provide you with a scholarship, and we'll have the applications ready for you later on this summer. And so I have another question. Hi, Caroline. How are you? So Caroline asks, is the team going to collect any items in advance to leave with the ministry there? So Orphans Heart has actually given us a list of things that they would like for us to bring. And so what we're probably going to do is break it down into smaller amounts, since we won't necessarily all be coming from the same place to start. And so maybe you'll be responsible for crayons or diapers or something like that. I can't remember what their list is. It's in the little handbook on our website if you want to go check out the Orphans Heart handbook. But we'll call them again closer to time and ask them, like, what are your biggest needs? Because we don't want to take down a whole bunch of coloring books if they just got 500 coloring books from the group that was there right before them. So we'll call them and ask them what's the most immediate, or what would be the best way for us to do that. But we totally are excited about bringing donations with us as well. And so that's also another great way that your community can support you. And so maybe someone doesn't have $25 they can give towards your team, but maybe they can donate. Maybe they own a sporting goods store and they want to donate basketballs. And so you remember that. And so, yeah, we'll definitely provide you with all that information. We'll give you letters that you can give out to people if you're trying to recruit donors of physical goods and stuff like that too. So thanks, Caroline. Great question. Back to the money. So yeah, it's going to be $2,000. You have an opportunity for a $500 scholarship. So in reality, it's a $1,500 trip. So much better. some of the stuff that it covers, it'll cover your airfare from DFW down to Guatemala and back, so we won't leave you there. We got you covered the whole trip. If you're having to come somewhere from another city, so say you live in Virginia and you're having to travel to DFW and back, that's on your own dime. So hopefully maybe your parents have some frequent flyer miles that they want to gift you for graduation. That'd be a great way to get back and forth to DFW. And we'll be there to pick you up from the airport and get you to the hotel for the pre-trip activities. So that would be an expense you have on your own. We'll cover all your hotel, all your food. Pretty much the only thing you'll have to pay for while you're in Guatemala is if you want souvenirs. So we'll have a couple opportunities to go shopping. And so if you want to come back with a purse, or I always come back, I love the fabric. So they have so many pretty fabrics that are handmade. I know Keen's really excited about the fabric. And so depending on what you want to buy and bring back for your family and friends, that'll be your only expense. So I would say maybe $100, maybe $200 max that you would need to bring on top of the trip cost. We'll take care of everything else along the way. The other thing would be if you have a Dr. Pepper addiction like most of us do around here, it's a little hard to find Dr. Pepper, but if you do need a soda or something like that, that might be an additional cost. So if it's not included in your meal, you may, if you want some ice cream late at night while you're walking around town with your group, going to the city center one night, if you want to grab ice cream and stuff, that may be a cost on your own. So not too many additional things. Molly talked about zip lining. Did y'all catch that? Like zip lining in Guatemala. Super cool. Covered in the cost of your trip. So we're excited about that as well. We'll also have a lot of swag for you guys too. So you'll get at least a couple t-shirts, water bottles, all kinds of stuff. So we'll hook you up with a lot of cool Baylor stuff before you even get here. So we're excited to be able to provide that for you as well. And so that's kind of the big stuff in terms of finances. And so I'm going to look and make sure I don't have any other random. Hey, more questions. Y'all are so cool. There must be something wrong with the actual Q&A thing. Because my last name is hard to spell. Y'all are dedicated.
Looking it up.
Y'all are funny. I'm getting married next month, so you won't have to worry about my crazy long email too much longer. Okay, this question is from Ricardo again. If you have a special diet, is there any way to find out what types of food we'll be eating? Great question. So if you think about a traditional Central American diet, usually we're talking lots of rice and beans. And so that would probably be some of the staple food groups that everything kind of revolves around. We'll be staying at a really nice hotel that'll have continental breakfast for us every morning. So there's always going to be fresh fruit, probably scrambled eggs and stuff like that. If you have any allergies that we need to know about, that'll be on one of the paperwork that you'll have to fill out for Baylor later on. So if you're allergic to peanuts, please let us know ahead of time. But one of the things I've loved about Guatemala is like the food's really, really international, and there's lots of variety and stuff like that. So if at least like rice and beans, plantains, I'm getting, my mouth is watering just thinking about it. Omar's over there like salivating. It's almost dinner time. We're a little hungry. But yeah, there's lots of great stuff to eat. If there's specific things that you're allergic to, for sure, or if you have a special diet, if you're vegetarian, it's very doable to be able to be a vegetarian and be in Guatemala. And so there's also lots of fresh fish. So if you like fish, that's also good. So Grace, hi Grace. You asked how many freshmen will be able to go on the trip. We are taking 20 this year. It's our first time to ever do this, and so we really felt like that was like a good starting number. We actually were afraid we wouldn't even get that many, and so like 20 was us like aiming high, and you guys have like blown us away. First of all, the quality of applications, like each of you is amazing. Yeah. And I mean, we couldn't ask for a better applicant pool. And so we're having to make some really hard choices. Yeah, we're really not excited about having to cut some people. But one of the things we're going to do is we're going to pick our 20. And then if someone drops out, we will have a waiting list. And so just kind of, we'll tell you what your spot on the waiting list is to know. And hopefully you would know probably by at least mid-May if you're waiting list and getting bumped up. So we'll make sure to keep you in the loop if you end up on a waiting list. So who knows? We could start doing like multiple line camp trips. If only. I might need a bigger staff.
Yeah.
If that happens.
Part of our reason for choosing only 20 students is because we only have 4 leaders, and we really want each student to have a personal relationship with their leader. And so if we made that group much larger, y'all wouldn't have the same experience that we're really hoping to provide for you. So if you have any questions about that, you could email me or Holly, but we really had you in mind when we chose that group size, because we want you to have the best experience possible.
And we said we have 6 upperclassmen students going. And so we have 4 leaders who are small group leaders that you'll get to know really well. The other's Molly here. And then we have Emmy, and Emmy is our resident storyteller. And so she is going to follow us around all weekend with her GoPro and be taking pictures and taking videos and helping to document what line camp is like in Guatemala. So that way we can tell your story, and you don't have to like worry about having your phone all the time to be able to take pictures. Like Emmy will be there to get really good pictures of you with the kids and stuff like that. And so she'll be the one responsible for all that stuff. And so technology is another great question that someone just asked me. So I tried to segue.
Look at that.
And so someone asked about internet access and cell phone coverage. And so for internet access, you will have Wi-Fi at the hotel. And so most people will take their phones, or maybe like a small tablet, but leave your laptops at home. And you're not going to have that much time anyways. And so anything you can access on your phone or on an iPad or something like that, that's totally cool. The one thing about carrying technology with you is that you also have to know that it could get lost or get stolen or get broken. And so you just kind of have to live with the knowledge that you're taking that risk. And so we totally encourage you to bring your phones with you so that you can have the ability to communicate. It's a little bit different. At traditional line camp, they take your phone away from you. So this is a very different policy. One of the Baylor policy for international travel, on the other hand, requires that all students take a cell phone with them. So it's the opposite of traditional line camp. And you also have to have an international policy or international phone plan. And so most of your carriers, so if you're with any of the big ones like AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, you can actually do it on a daily basis, and it's pretty cheap. And so I will provide you with, or your small group leader will tell you far in advance how to set up those plans on your phone and get connected. And so just because you will have the opportunity to be connected doesn't mean you will be constantly connected. And so there may be times where we all agree to put our cell phones in the middle of the table to be present, because that's really important that you be present with the team and be fully immersed in the Guatemalan experience. But we still know that you need to be able to be in contact with your family, and there will be times, like tech times, for you to be able to contact your friends and family back home to make sure that they know about what your day's been like, and just to make sure everything's going safe. And I will also, my phone number will be plastered everywhere. And so if anything happens and your parents need to get a hold of me, like my phone I know works abroad, and so your parents will always have access to me for sure. And so that's always something to know.
Yeah, and for parents, Emmy's job is going to be to keep you guys updated and let you know what's going on the trip. And so as far as like your parents needing to check in on you all the time, we're going to try to really have that covered for you so that your parents know what's going on in Guatemala and they see the interactions that you've been able to build. So I know when I went on my first trip, my mom was like, I won't be able to talk to you all the time. But we're really glad to have someone like Emmy on our team who's going to be able to kind of bridge that gap between our experience and what our parents are looking at from the United States. So
And Guatemala is super safe. And the town we're going to is very, it's very touristy actually. And so lots of people from all over the world go there all during the year. And so we're hoping that Guatemala is somewhere your parents have heard positive things about before. And so it's definitely a fun place to be able to go on your first Baylor mission trip. And so to kind of wrap things up, if we get additional questions, I'll be sure to answer them, but I'm going to let Robert and Omar finish us out with the top 5 reasons you should attend the Baylor Missions Line Camp in Guatemala.
Okay.
All right, Omar, kick us off with number 1.
5.
Or number 1, either way.
5. Let's do 5.
Yeah, do cut down.
Yeah. All right. So, one of the reasons I think you should go is because of the leader-student ratio. With normal line camp, each leader gets about 10 to 12 students. Each leader gets about 10 to 12 students that they get to interact with them throughout the week. And as a leader myself, I found that there were some students I never really interacted with as much as others. So with this program, each leader will have 5 students, and it will give the students and the leader a chance to better interact with each other and better get connected and just feel like at home.
All right, number 4. So one of the things that I'm really excited about this trip is that you really get to experience Baylor and what Baylor is all about in doing international service. Baylor being a Christian university, we want to be sharing the good news of Christ all over the world and in Waco too, and really just serve and love everybody that we can. And so that's what we want to do this week of Line Camp, is be able to serve and really show that Baylor's serious about serving and loving people as God has called us to do.
All right, number 3, going into a global missions line camp, it will give the students the opportunity to get a mission experience before anybody else in your class. And it will set you apart from everybody else.
All right, number 2, so another big thing, like Holly and Keen mentioned, you get some of the major aspects of line camp, traditional line camp, in this non-traditional line camp experience. We're going to be doing a lot of small group sessions, learning about strengths and calling and things that we would do during traditional line camp. So you get a lot of that, but I don't think you're really going to miss anything from traditional by going on this. And I think the experience is going to be fantastic. Just being able to build relationships with people and share this experience together that is going to last a lifetime.
All right, and the number 1 reason you should go is because this is the first time we are doing this. You will be the first students to go on a project like this that incorporates everything that's great about line camp with everything that's great about missions. It's truly a unique experience that no one else before you has had a chance to experience.
All right, so that's our top 5, but there's lots of other reasons too, and we're really excited to get to know you guys, and hope you are too. I'm going to turn it back over to Holly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just get in the middle.
All right.
Guys, we're so excited that you hung in for what ended up being a little bit longer of a virtual meeting. And so we're really appreciative of that. And if you are catching us later on our YouTube channel, we'll make sure that you can just contact us at missions@baylor.edu is a great email to be able to get us for any further questions. So we hope if this is your first time hearing about the trip that you will apply. It's due Friday. And if you've already signed up, we are super excited to read your applications, and you will probably know by the end of next week what our acceptances are and the next step forward. So we're super excited, and thank y'all for watching. Sick 'em Bears. Hey, Sick 'em.